Federal agent, verify the number. This badge is fake. Call the duty desk.
He gave you the number.
Stay back. Verify it.
That's my daughter.
She can wait.
She's calling from her school.
You're not touching the phone.
Let him answer.
Back up. 30 seconds.
No.
What do we have?
Fake federal badge.
Lock case.
Use your secure directory.
What's inside the case?
Protected material.
Convenient.
Verify me first. Why won't you check it? Keep recording and stay back. Credential returned active.
Let her finish.
Possible spoofing. Secure federal transfer confirmed.
That proves nothing.
It proves exactly what he said.
Reconnect the line. No.
Hands back. Am I under arrest? You're being detained. After federal confirmation, we all heard it. Stop interfering. He isn't resisting. Preserve every recording. You don't give orders here. Dad, please answer it.
Transport him. His daughter can hear this. Put the phone in evidence. What are you afraid she'll hear?
Keep the original videos.
Everyone step away.
Do not open that case.
Another fake secret?
Load it.
Urgent federal warning.
Turn that down. What warning? You should listen.
Detaining officers may be connected to...
The officer held Marcus Reed's federal badge between two fingers and laughed. Nice fake. Phones were already recording around them. Blue lights washed over the rain-slicked road, and Marcus's daughter kept calling from a school auditorium he'd promised not to miss. Why would a routine traffic stop end in handcuffs? Why did the sergeant ignore the badge number, the sealed case file, and the voice from Federal Dispatch? And why did Marcus refuse to push back when one phone call could have ended it all? The answer went far beyond a single arrest, and by sunrise, an entire department would have no choice but to listen. Stick with it, because the badge they mocked was only the first secret waiting on that road. Hands where I can see them. Marcus held them up at shoulder height. Rain drummed on the roof of his gray sedan and crept in cold beneath his jacket collar. Officer Evan Cole stood 3 feet away, pinching Marcus's federal credentials between 2 fingers like they were something dirty. Call the verification line, Marcus said. Cole laughed. You want me to call a number printed on a fake badge? It routes through a federal duty desk. Sure it does. A truck hissed past, kicking up mist across the shoulder. 2 strangers had stopped to watch. One had a phone raised. Marcus's phone buzzed on the patrol car's hood. Leah calling. He glanced at it once. Cole caught the look. Don't. That's my daughter. She'll wait till I say. A raindrop crossed Marcus's photo on the badge, slid over the seal, and pooled at the leather edge. Sergeant Laura Vance arrived with her hood cinched tight. She looked at Cole first. What's going on here? Forged federal credentials won't let me open the locked case. It has protected material inside, Marcus said. You'd need verified authorization. Vance took the wallet. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. That's right. And you're just driving through Ashford with a secret case. I'm not discussing an active matter roadside. Cole smirked. He's got that memorized. The phone buzzed again. Leah calling, lit up through the rainwater on the screen. Sergeant, Marcus said, the duty desk can confirm who I am in under a minute. Vance glanced toward the person filming under the store awning. Anybody can print a badge. The verification call is what counts. Cole stepped in closer. Turn around. Marcus didn't move. Am I being detained? Since the moment I told you to get out? Yes. For what? Cole's jaw tightened. Vance answered for him. Obstruction, while we sort out who you are. You already have a way to do that. Turn around, she said again. For a second, the street went still. The rain let up slightly. Behind the storefront glass, a door chime rang, but nobody stepped outside. Marcus turned. The first cuff clicked shut around his left wrist, cold metal biting into skin. He shifted his weight so Cole couldn't mistake his balance for resistance. Too tight? Cole asked. Marcus flexed his fingers. You know the guidelines. Cole tightened it anyway. The woman filming lowered her phone, then lifted it again. Marcus's phone buzzed a third time and then went quiet. A voicemail icon popped up under Leah's name. Vance dropped the credentials into an evidence bag. "Don't seal that before you've verified it," Marcus said. "You don't give the orders here." "No, I'm just protecting the record." Cole patted down Marcus's jacket and pulled the folded school program from a pocket. Damp paper unfolded in his glove. In blue ink, Leah had written, "Don't be late this time." "What's this?" "Put it back." Cole read the words, then let the paper drop by the rear tire. Rain began soaking into it. Marcus looked down. Not at Cole, not at Vance. At the ink starting to run. "Get him in the car," Vance said. Cole steered him toward the cruiser while the phones kept recording and the little paper flower slowly dissolved in the rain. 4 hours earlier, the kitchen clock hit 3:12 p.m. as Marcus slid 2 reheated pancakes onto Leah's plate. "You burned the edges," she said. "I improved the texture." "You always say that." Cinnamon and hot butter cut through the stale afternoon air while rain built up against the window. Leah sat in her school sweater, turning a folded concert program between her fingers. Marcus set the syrup bottle down with the handle facing her. "Eat. You can critique me later." She cut a corner off but didn't lift it. "What time are you back?" "Before 6. "Doors open at 6. "I know." "You knew that about the science thing, too." Marcus stopped wiping the counter. The dishcloth was still warm in his hand. "That interview ran long." "And the winter recital?" "My flight got canceled." Leah glanced at the framed photo next to the fruit bowl. Aisha, laughing in summer light, one hand on Marcus's shoulder. The gray afternoon light briefly hid her face. "Tonight's different," Marcus said. "How?" "Because I'm telling you I'll be there." "You told me that before, too." The radiator knocked twice. Marcus pulled out the chair across from her. "What are you singing?" "You know." "I want you to say it." "Mom's song." The words sat between them. Marcus looked at the photo. "She used to sing it while making coffee." "She sang it everywhere." "She forgot half the words." "She just changed them." A small laugh escaped him, but Leah's face didn't move. "Will you sit up front?" she asked. "First row?" "Not near the door." "Middle seat?" "Phone off." "All the way off." She studied him like she was checking a signature. "Ms. Ellison says parents should get there early." "I'll be early enough to complain about the folding chairs." That got the corner of her mouth to lift. She ate a bite, then touched the pale blue shirt draped over the next chair. "You're wearing that?" "With the charcoal jacket." "You look like you're about to interrogate someone." "I'm meeting someone who needs to feel safe." "Work?" "Yes." "The kind you can't tell me about?" "The kind I can explain once it's over." Leah nodded, worrying one of the gold stars loose from the program with her thumb. Marcus rinsed his mug, changed his shirt in the hallway, and came back fastening his last cuff. At the door, he checked his wallet, keys, and wedding ring. The field jacket felt cool across his shoulders. Leah appeared with both shoes already on. "Dad." He turned. "Don't make me keep staring at that door." The room seemed to shrink around the sentence. Marcus reached for her, but she got there first, pressing her forehead briefly against his chest. "I won't," he said. She pulled back before he could see her face. "First row." "First row." He stepped into the hallway. The elevator light glowed red at the far end, climbing too slowly. Reaching into his pocket for his keys, his fingers brushed folded paper. Leah had tucked the concert program in there. Along the bottom, in uneven blue letters, "Don't be late this time." The elevator doors opened with a metal sigh. Marcus read the line once, folded the program along its crease, and pressed it over his heart before the doors shut. At 4:07 p.m., Chief Hal Brennan tapped a red line on the quarterly chart. "Stops are down 12%, he said. "Warnings are up." Fluorescent light flattened every face in the Ashford briefing room. Wet jackets steamed along the back wall. Evan Cole sat with one boot hooked around his chair leg. "People slow down when they see us coming." "Then find the ones who don't." Sergeant Laura Vance kept both hands flat on a complaint folder. "This one came back in," she said. Cole leaned back. The driver changed his story. He added a witness. He added a friend. Brennan reached for the folder. A red stamp crossed the front. "Complaint not sustained." "How many days did that cost us?" 3. "Close it." Near the door, Jonah Price looked up. "Shouldn't repeat complaints go to outside review?" The room went quiet. Vance turned. "You've been here 6 weeks. 7. Then spend week 8 learning the difference between a worry and proof." Brennan slid the folder back. "This department doesn't get run by people who resent being pulled over." Jonah looked down. Cole smiled. "Quarter ends Friday," Brennan said. "I want visibility, contacts, clean reports." Chairs scraped, radios crackled. Vance waited until the room cleared, then put her hand over the red stamp. "You need to be more careful," she told Cole. "I was careful. You were loud." He reached toward the console. "That's not what your camera shows." Cole's jaw tightened. "You watched it? Enough to keep it from turning into something bigger." She lowered her voice. "Give me less to clean up." Across town, Marcus sat in a laundromat office where the dryers made the walls shake. Calvin Moss, 44, narrow-shouldered, a silver scar through one eyebrow, held a paper cup. "They stopped me on Briar Road," Calvin said. "Same spot, same questions." "How many times?" 4 since May." "They searched the van?" "Twice." "With your consent?" Calvin picked at the seam of the cup. "Said if I refused, they'd hold me till a dog showed up." Marcus didn't write anything down yet. "Did an officer identify themselves?" "Cole. The woman was Vance." A dryer buzzer went off. Calvin flinched, spilling coffee across his thumb. Marcus slid the napkin dispenser toward him. "Take your time." "They called my boss," Calvin went on. "Said I seemed nervous. He cut my roots for 2 weeks." "You have the dispatch records?" Calvin lifted a sealed envelope. "Copies. 2 other names, too." Marcus logged the time, sealed it inside a black case, and clicked both latches shut. "You understand this could go public. I understand staying quiet already cost me plenty. I won't use your name without your say-so." Calvin nodded, still crushing the cup between his fingers. At 4:42, Marcus stepped out into the lot. A message from Leah. "Front row, no excuses." He typed, "Already planned," then deleted it and wrote, "I'll be there before the doors open." Her reply came instantly. "Promise?" Marcus glanced at the black case on the passenger seat and pressed his wedding band against the screen. "Promise." The heater coughed out cold air, the wipers dragged across the glass, and the clock ticked to 4:45. 3 miles away, Evan Cole turned onto Briar Road and switched on his patrol camera. At 4:53 p.m., red lights filled Marcus's rearview mirror. He checked the speedometer. 41 in a 45 zone. The wipers scraped across the windshield. Ahead, the faded centerline had vanished under standing water. Marcus pulled over beneath the buzzing sign of a roadside market and rolled down his window. "License and registration." "Of course." Evan Cole stood behind the doorframe, rain beading on his jacket. Marcus kept both hands visible, then reached slowly toward the console. "Tell me what you're doing." "Getting the registration." "I didn't ask for a narration." Marcus handed over the document with his license. "Why was I stopped?" "Cross the center line." "The line's underwater." Cole shone a flashlight in his face. "Calling me a liar?" "No. Asking where you saw it." The beam stayed on him. Inside the market, 21-year-old Tessa Park paused by a refrigerator case, a yellow raincoat over one arm, a pencil stuck through her bun. Through the glass, she watched Cole lean in closer. "Where are you coming from?" he asked. "A meeting." "What kind?" "A private one." Cole's eyes went to the black case strapped into the passenger seat. "What's in there?" "Protected work material." "Step out." Marcus checked the clock. 4:56. "Am I being cited?" "You're being instructed." A truck rumbled into the lot, air brakes sighing. Samuel Grant, 58, broad-shouldered, gray-bearded, climbed down with a metal thermos and stopped when he caught Cole's tone. Marcus unclipped his seatbelt. The buckle snapped loud in the cabin. "I'll step out," he said. "The case stays closed." Cole yanked the door open. Cold rain hit Marcus's neck. "Hands on the roof." Marcus complied. Water ran down inside his sleeves. Cole patted his jacket down and pulled out the folded concert program. "What's this?" "My daughter's school program." Cole glanced at the handwritten note and shoved it back. "You nervous?" "No." "You're answering real careful." "I usually do." Samuel moved under the awning next to Tessa. "Did he cross the line?" she whispered. "Not from where I was standing." "You saw him?" "For half a mile." Cole circled the sedan. "Locked case, private meeting, careful answers. That normal where you're from?" Marcus half turned. "I've answered every lawful question about this stop." "Face forward." The market door chimed as Tessa stepped outside, phone raised. Cole spotted her. "Ma'am, stay back." "I am back." "Stop recording." "Am I breaking a law?" Samuel's thermos lid clicked against the cup. "Let her stand there." Cole's shoulders stiffened. "Both of you need to clear out." "We're customers," Samuel said. Marcus felt the roof shudder as another truck passed. "Officer, my ID is in the inside pocket. It'll explain why the case can't be opened here." Cole reached in, pulled out the leather credential wallet, and flipped it open under the market light. For the first time, something shifted in his expression. Rain ticked against Tessa's phone screen. Samuel stopped pouring his coffee. Cole read the badge twice, then looked up at Marcus. "What exactly are you supposed to be?" Cole held the wallet up under the market light. "What exactly are you supposed to be?" Marcus kept both palms flat on the wet roof. "Read the agency name." "I did." "Then call the verification line." Cole turned the wallet toward Tessa's phone. "Gold seal, fancy lettering. Anyone can print this." Samuel stood near the ice machine. "So check it." Rain hammered the awning. Cold water crept under Marcus's sleeves. "My daughter's performing tonight," he said. "Verify me and this is over in a minute." Cole smiled. "Now there's a daughter." Marcus said nothing. Tessa lowered her phone, then raised it again. Cole keyed his radio. "Dispatch, send another unit. Possible forged credentials, locked container, uncooperative driver." "I've followed every instruction you've given." At 5:01, Sergeant Laura Vance's cruiser pulled in behind the sedan. What do we have?
Cole handed her the wallet.
Says he's federal. Won't open that case. Vance ran her flashlight over the seal, the photo, the verification number. Where'd you get this? It was issued to me, Cole laughed. That's the whole act so far. Vance glanced at Tessa. Don't interfere. I'm 20 feet away. A loose sign banged against the wall. Refrigeration units hummed behind the glass. Marcus turned his head slightly. That number connects to a secure duty desk. Give them my credential code. A good fake would have a good number too, Vance said. A secure response can't be printed. Unless a friend's on the other end, Cole added. Marcus's phone buzzed inside the sedan. Leah calling lit the Rain Street window. Who's that? Cole asked. My daughter. She can wait. The auditorium opens at 6. Vance checked the cruiser clock. Cole reached for the black case. The steel cable held it fast to the seat frame. Don't damage that case, Marcus said. That a threat? A warning about chain of custody. Tessa's phone caught Vance's eyes cutting toward Cole. Leave it, she said. Cole let go of the handle. What's in it? Vance asked. Protected evidence. I can't say more until I'm verified. That answer's getting old. It's still accurate. Cole moved behind him. Hands together. Marcus looked at Vance. Am I under arrest? Detained, while we figure out if these papers are fraudulent. You can figure that out right now. We're not calling a number a suspect handed us. Use your own federal directory then. Turn around, Vance said. Marcus obeyed. The first cuff clicked shut, cold metal against his skin. He adjusted his footing so Cole wouldn't mistake it for resistance. Tessa murmured, This isn't right. Samuel gripped his thermos lid tighter, but said nothing. Marcus's phone stopped buzzing. A voicemail icon appeared under Leah's name. Sergeant, he said, your cameras just caught the badge, the number, and you refusing both. Vance dropped the wallet into a clear evidence bag. Good, then it's on record. A raindrop crossed Marcus's photo through the plastic, blurring his face. But the federal seal stayed sharp. At 5:04 p.m., the dispatcher's voice cut through Cole's radio. Unit 12, confirm the credential number. Cole looked at Vance. Rain hammered the cruiser roof while Marcus stood cuffed between them. Read it, Vance said. Cole lifted the evidence bag and recited the code. At Ashford Dispatch, Maya Lopez, 29, silver pen tucked behind one ear, straightened and typed the number into the state directory. It redirected her to a federal portal. Stand by. Marcus watched Vance's face. Cole tugged at the cable securing the case. Still locked. It stays locked, Marcus said. Like that matters. It will. Tessa moved to the edge of the awning. Samuel set his thermos on the concrete ledge. Maya entered the second code. A green banner appeared. Active Federal Crowdcast. Transfer to duty desk. She pressed the secure line. Federal Duty Officer Ashford Dispatch. Identity confirmation on a roadside detention. Give me the full code. Maya did. Static rose and fell. Then a voice returned. Confirmed. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. Maintain custody of all property and... Vance's thumb hit the switch on Cole's shoulder mic. The voice cut out. Only the market sign kept buzzing. Marcus looked at her hand. Why'd you cut that off? We don't know who was really on that line. Maya used the department directory. Cole frowned. How do you know her name? The dispatcher said it herself. She didn't, Tessa said. Everyone turned. Marcus kept his eyes on Vance. Her unit number's right there on the transmission header. Cole checked the display. Maya's identifier glowed next to the channel. Vance's jaw shifted. An elaborate fraud can still be elaborate. Then reconnect the call. No. You just heard them confirm him. Vance pointed at the store. Get inside. I'm on private property. Cole stepped toward him. Don't make this your fight. Samuel didn't budge. Looks like it already is. The rain thinned to mist. Water ran off Marcus's cuffs into his palms. His left thumb had gone numb. Back at dispatch, Maya noted the exact second Vance cut the line and attached it to the incident file. Maya to Unit 12, federal status came back active. Reconnect? Vance answered first. Negative. Flag it as possible spoofing. Maya's fingers stopped moving. Sergeant, the directory started that transfer. Flag it. Marcus heard the pause in Maya's breathing. Copy, she said, but her voice had changed. Cole opened the sedan's rear door and leaned toward the case. We can cut the cable back at the station. Open it without authorization, Marcus said, and everything inside becomes part of this incident. Cole smiled. Supposed to scare me? Supposed to inform you. Marcus's phone buzzed on the cruiser hood. Leah's name lit up, then went dark. Vance flipped it face down. Get him in the car. Maya's terminal chimed. An urgent federal message appeared. She read the first line twice. Do not interrupt contact. Detaining officers may be involved in an active federal inquiry. Her hand hovered over the radio as, outside, Cole grabbed Marcus's arm. At 5:07 p.m., Cole's hand closed around Marcus's upper arm. Walk. Marcus glanced at Vance's radio. Dispatch just sent an urgent message. You're not part of our comms, she said. I heard the alert. Cole pulled him toward the cruiser. Save it for booking. Tessa stepped out from under the awning. He was confirmed. I got it on video. Vance raised a hand. Stay back. Are you arresting him because the confirmation embarrassed you? Samuel grabbed Tessa's sleeve before she could get closer. His thermos clattered against the wall. Marcus turned his head. Keep the original file. Don't touch it. Cole tightened his grip. Stop coaching witnesses. His phone buzzed again on the hood. Leah calling glowed through the rain. Let me answer, Marcus said. 30 seconds. No, Vance said. She's 13 and waiting alone. You can call after processing. Then just tell her I'm safe. Vance picked up the phone. For a second, Marcus thought she'd answer it. Instead, she sealed it inside a clear evidence pouch, pressing the strip shut with her thumb. Cole searched Marcus's pockets again, pulling out his keys and pen. The folded concert program caught on the jacket lining. Careful, Marcus said. Cole pulled harder. The damp paper opened between his gloves. Along the bottom, blue ink. Don't be late this time. Cole's expression flickered, then hardened. What is it? Vance asked. School paper. Bag it. It's not evidence, Marcus said. Everything on you is evidence now. Cole let the program drop while reaching for another bag. It landed beside the rear tire. Rain pressed it flat against the asphalt. Marcus stopped moving. Move, Cole said. The program. We'll grab it. You just stepped over it. Vance noticed Tessa's phone still pointed at them. Pick it up. A gust shoved the page under the cruiser. One corner still showed, the writing dissolving into blue threads. Samuel crossed the wet concrete and crouched near the bumper. Cole blocked him with a boot. Don't touch the car. That's his kids. Back off. Samuel straightened, water dripping off his beard. You heard him ask for one call. Nobody answered. At 6:18 p.m., Leah stood behind the auditorium curtain, rubbing her palms against her skirt. Warm light leaked through the fabric.
The room smelled of dust,
floor polish, and carnations. Ms. Ellison adjusted the microphone. "Your dad might be parking." Leah peeked through the gap in the curtain. The middle seat, first row, sat empty. A small paper flower rested on the cushion. "He said he'd be early," she whispered. Her phone showed 4 unanswered calls. The pianist played the opening notes. Leah swallowed hard, stepped into the light, and faced the empty chair. Back on Briar Road, Cole shut Marcus inside the cruiser. The cabin smelled of vinyl and old coffee. Through the wet glass, Marcus watched Samuel standing near the half-buried program. Vance lifted the black case out of the sedan. "Log the badge, phone, and case as suspected fraudulent property." Maya's voice broke through the radio. "Sergeant, acknowledge the federal warning." Vance reached in and turned the volume down. The cruiser pulled away. Under its rear tire, the paper flower tore loose and stayed behind on the road. The station bench was colder than Marcus expected. At 6:41 p.m., he sat under a flickering ceiling panel, hands between his knees. The air smelled of bleach, wet wool, and burnt coffee. Beyond the desk, a printer fed out pages with a dry rasp. Cole typed slowly. "Name. You already have it." "State it." "Marcus Reed." "Occupation." Marcus glanced at the evidence shelf, where his badge, phone, keys, and black case sat bagged separately. "Federal employee." Cole's fingers paused. "Not going in the report." "Then leave it blank." Jonah Price came in with a property tray. 24, every crease still sharp. He glanced at the screen. "Sergeant listed the stop at 5:12. Cole kept typing. "So?" "Your camera started at 4:53. "Traffic was bad." "Doesn't explain 19 minutes. Cole turned. "Checking my report now?" "Checking the timestamps." Vance walked in, rain shining on her sleeves. "Price, inventory the vehicle property." Jonah lifted the bag with Marcus's credentials. The seal caught the light. "Was this verified?" "Possible spoofing," Vance said. "The dispatch log says active." "It also says unresolved." Marcus lifted his head. "Because you cut off the call." Cole struck a key. "Quiet." The printer rasped again. Jonah reached toward Cole's camera dock. A green light blinked. "You upload the full recording?" "It auto-uploads." The buffer would have the verification call. Cole stepped between him and the dock. "Just inventory the property." Jonah glanced at Marcus, then away. "Yes, sir." At 6:56, the cuffs finally came off. Marcus flexed his fingers, but his left thumb stayed numb. Cole slid a phone across the desk. One call. "My own phone." "It's evidence." "Then play the voicemail." "Not part of booking." Marcus dialed Leah on the station handset. It rang until the recording kicked in. He hung up before the tone. "Try again," Jonah said quietly. Marcus did. Leah picked up. "Dad?" "I'm here." "Where were you?" He looked at the clock. "I got held up." "You promised." "I know." The words came out quiet. Behind him, Cole shuffled through forms. Vance stared at the dark window. "Did you hear me sing?" Leah asked. "No." She said nothing. Marcus pressed the receiver closer. "I'm sorry." "You always have a reason." The line went dead. He set the phone back in its cradle with both hands. Jonah glanced at the evidence shelf. A corner of the concert program stuck out of a damp bag. "This yours?" Marcus took it gently. The paper had gone soft, the blue message spread into a pale smear. He smoothed it across his knee. Cole slid a form toward him. "Sign." Marcus scanned the first line. You wrote that I got confrontational when I wouldn't identify myself. That's the report. It's false. Then don't sign it. Jonah looked at the camera dock. The green light had switched to amber. What's amber mean? Upload interrupted, Vance said. By who? Nobody answered. Marcus folded the ruined program along its crease. A computer chimed somewhere in the back office. Jonah checked the nearest screen. A backup copy of Cole's recording had started saving to the station server. At 7:03 p.m., the backup file reached 92%. Jonah stood by the monitor while Cole and Vance argued in the hallway. You said the upload failed, Cole whispered. It's stalled, Vance shot back. Then kill the backup. From whose login? The bar ticked up to 93. Marcus sat on the cold bench, the ruined program in his palm. Dry heat blew over his damp sleeves, carrying dust and burnt coffee. Maya Lopez's voice came through the desk radio. Dispatch to Sergeant Vance, Federal Duty Desk requesting detainee status. Vance grabbed the handset. Subject remains under investigation. Federal identity is confirmed. You already said that. Saying it again, for the record. Cole glanced up at the ceiling camera.
Vance dropped her voice.
Mark the contact unresolved. Can't override a verified return. Note possible spoofing then. I did. Federal security rejected it. The printer fan hummed on. Maya went on. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, active status, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force, identity verified. On her screen, green text glowed beside Marcus's photo. Identity verified. Maya saved a screenshot, attached the call log, and sent both to the federal address named in the warning. Then she wrote the time down on paper. At 7:08, Daniel Cho, 48, rimless glasses, walked into a secure operations room. Reed missed his check-in, Renee Wallace said. 36, curls pinned up, she had the vehicle tracker pulled up. Last signal? Briar Road, 458, then Ashford Station. Call him. Phone's in police custody. Daniel read through Maya's attachment. They held him after confirmation? Twice confirmed. Who cut the first call?
Sergeant Laura Vance?
Daniel picked up a secure line. Send a field team. Preserve every Ashford recording from 4:30 on. Do we tell them what he was carrying? Not on an open line. And Calvin Moss? Move him tonight. Renee reached for another handset. Marcus is going to hate that. He can hate it once he's out. At 7:14, Tessa sat in Samuel's truck with the heater running, rainwater dripping from her yellow coat as she replayed her footage. Cole's voice filled the cab. Anyone can print this. Then the confirmation, Vance cutting the radio, Marcus saying, Your cameras recorded your refusal. Samuel watched the station entrance. Post it, he said. What if I got something wrong? Then don't add anything. Tessa sent the raw file to Nora Bell, a 41-year-old local reporter. Nora called back right away. Did you film the whole thing? Until they drove off. Keep the original, don't touch it. Was he actually federal?
Confirming that now. What if they white their copy? Then yours is the evidence. Inside the station, the backup bar hit 100%. Jonah wrote the file number on his palm before Vance crossed the room. Delete the duplicate, she said. That's automatic evidence retention. That was an order. Jonah looked at Marcus, then at the wet program in his hand. No, Sergeant. Before Vance could respond, 3 sets of headlights swept across the windows and stopped at the entrance. The first knock came at 7:19 p.m. Every head turned toward the glass doors. Daniel Cho walked in first, rain shining on his coat. Renee Wallace followed with 2 federal officers. "Who's in charge here?" Daniel asked. Vance stepped forward. "I am." "No," Chief Brennan said. "I am." Daniel held up his credentials. "Federal Task Force Supervisor. Release Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed." Cole stared at Marcus. "Senior Agent?" Marcus stayed on the bench, the ruined program on his knee. Brennan looked at Vance. "You told me the badge was fraudulent. It came through a shaky line." Maya's voice came out of the desk speaker. "The line was secure." Vance reached for the volume knob. "Leave it," Daniel said. Renee crossed to Marcus. "You hurt?" "No." "Property?" "Badge, phone, keys, and the black case. Chain of custody is compromised." Cole shook his head. "We never even opened it." "You tried," Marcus said. Jonah brought over the property bags. "All items logged at 5:36. Case arrived sealed." Daniel checked each label. "Who authorized seizing protected material?" Vance said, "He wouldn't say what was in it." "He couldn't, roadside," Renee said. The room smelled of wet uniforms and hot wiring. A copier started up, then stopped. Brennan lowered his voice. "Can we handle this quietly?" Daniel glanced outside. "That window closed when your officers ignored 2 confirmations." He signed the release form and pushed it toward Cole. "Clear the detention status." Cole didn't move. "Now," Brennan said. The keyboard clicked. Marcus stood. Renee reached for the damp program, but he folded it himself along the blurred crease. Daniel nodded toward the case. "Conference room." Fluorescent light bounced off the scarred table. Jonah stayed by the door. Marcus keyed in the code and opened the lid. 6 complaint files sat under a recorder, dispatch maps, and signed statements. Every folder named the same road, Briar Road. Cole's color drained. Marcus opened the top file. 4 stops on Calvin Moss, 2 searches with no documented consent. His employer contacted before any citation was issued. Vance looked at Brennan. "You knew about this?" "We get complaints every week." "Not like these," Daniel said. Marcus set down another folder. 3 witnesses, same questions, same location, same officers. Cole took a step back. "So this was a setup." "I was driving to my daughter's concert." "Then why are you carrying all this?" "Because a witness trusted me enough to talk today." Rain ticked against the narrow window. Renee turned the recorder toward Vance. "Cutting off verification is part of this case now, too." "I was protecting my officer." Marcus met her eyes. "You were protecting his version of events." Nobody moved. Daniel closed the lid. "All camera files, dispatch logs, reports, and complaints are under a preservation order." Brennan reached for the door. "I need to call counsel." "You need to stay available," Daniel said. Marcus checked his phone. 7 missed calls from Leah. Instead of calling back yet, he smoothed the ruined note flat and asked Jonah, "Where's the original camera file?" Jonah met his eyes. "Saved," he said. "And it has something the report left out." "Saved where?" Daniel asked. Jonah shut the conference room door. "The server auto-duplicates. I wrote down the file number before Sergeant Vance told me to delete it." Vance's chair scraped back. "That's not what I said." Jonah faced her. "You said delete the duplicate." Fluorescent lights buzzed. Rain ticked at the narrow window, and the room smelled of wet wool and hot plastic. Miriam Shaw arrived at 7:46 p.m., silver threading through her dark braid. "Nobody touches a terminal without my sign-off." Chief Brennan crossed his arms. "This is still my building." "Not this evidence," Miriam said. She lined up 3 screens: Tessa's video, Cole's body camera, and the dispatch log. The first showed Marcus with his hands visible. The second caught Cole at the locked case. The log showed federal confirmation at 5:04. Miriam tapped the timeline. "Officer Cole, your report says you first saw the credentials at 5:12. "That's when I examined them." "The video has them in your hand at 4:59. Cole's jaw tightened. "I estimated." "You estimated 13 minutes in your favor." Miriam played the audio. "Confirmed. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed." Vance's hand crossed the frame and the transmission cut. "Sergeant, I thought the call might be spoofed." "Based on what?" Vance looked at the table. "His answers." Marcus sat at the far end, the ruined concert program folded near his wrist. Miriam pulled up the dispatch record. "Maya Lopez used the department directory. You heard that." Vance's mouth opened, then shut. In the outer office, Nora Bell's alert pinged on several phones at once. Tessa's video had gone up with no commentary attached. The headline gave the road, the time, and the confirmed identity. Brennan reached for his phone. "Don't call anyone," Miriam said. "I need to manage the public response." "You needed to manage your officers." Jonah stood by the evidence cabinet, one hand in his pocket, fingers refusing to let go of the backup drive. The plastic edge had pressed a pale line into his palm. Daniel noticed. "What else do you have?" Jonah pulled the drive out, but held it above the table. Vance's voice softened. "Think this through. Once you hand that over, there's no taking it back." Jonah looked at Cole. Cole shook his head once. Officers had gathered near the doorway. They stepped back the moment Miriam looked up. Their silence said more than an argument would have. Jonah's hand shook. Marcus unfolded the program. The blue ink had bled through until Leah's sentence was almost unreadable. "You don't owe me loyalty," he said. "You owe the record accuracy." Jonah lowered the drive into Miriam's open evidence bag. The sound was barely anything. Cole shut his eyes. Miriam sealed the strip and logged the time. "What's on it?" "The first draft of the report," Jonah said, "before the timestamps got changed." Brennan turned on Vance. "Changed by who?" Jonah looked at the red complaint folder under her hand. "Her login." Miriam pulled up the audit log. Cold blue light spread across Vance's face. At 6:32 p.m., one entry showed under her credentials. Incident narrative revised. 2 minutes later, another. Federal verification reference removed. At 9:10 the next morning, the council chamber doors opened onto a packed room. Marcus sat beside Daniel and Miriam. His charcoal jacket had dried stiff. Under a white lamp sat the bag with his badge. Leah's ruined program rested inside his folder. Across the aisle, Cole straightened his tie. Vance gripped a paper cup. Brennan murmured to his counsel. "Officer Cole," Miriam said, "why does your report say Agent Reed became confrontational before showing ID?" He pushed back on the stop. "That's not what I asked." Cole glanced toward the gallery. Tessa sat next to Samuel. Jonah stood by the back wall. "I read his tone as confrontational." Miriam hit a key. Marcus's recorded voice filled the chamber. "Am I being cited?" Then Cole, "You're being instructed." No raised voices, just rain and the click of a turn signal. "Where's the confrontation?" Miriam asked. "You had to be there." "We were," Tessa said. The hearing officer raised a hand. No interruptions. Miriam pulled up the dispatch log. Sergeant Vance, at 5:04 p.m., Federal Dispatch confirmed Marcus Reed as a senior special agent. Why did you cut the transmission? I thought the call could be staged. Based on what? His locked case, how evasive he was. Miriam played the audio. Confirmed, Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. A click, then Vance's own voice. We don't know who was on that line. At 5:06, dispatch told you the department directory started the call. At 6:32, your login removed the verification reference. Vance looked at Brennan. He leaned away. I was protecting an investigation. Whose? She didn't answer. Daniel slid 3 internal emails across the table. One demanded higher stop counts. Another called complaints avoidable noise. The third read, keep repeat contacts in-house. Outside review creates headlines. Those are being taken out of context, Brennan said. Did you send them? Yes, but did you close Calvin Moss's complaint without ever interviewing the witness? We get hundreds of these. 7 of them involved the same road, the same officer, the same supervisor. Marcus opened Leah's program under the table. The ink had faded almost entirely. One word was still legible. Late. Miriam called Jonah forward. Why did you keep the first draft? The timestamps had changed. Who told you to delete the duplicate? Jonah looked at Vance. She did. Cole lowered his head. The reports appeared on screen. A federal badge became a suspicious credential. A verified call became an unknown caller. Marcus's request to reach his daughter had disappeared entirely. Miriam played one last clip. Vance's voice. Turn the volume down. Maya answering. Federal identity is confirmed. Nobody moved until the hearing officer took off his glasses. Officer Cole, Sergeant Vance, and Chief Brennan are suspended pending formal findings. All related complaints go to independent review. Cole stared at his badge. Agent Reed. Marcus folded the program and stood. Put it in the record, he said. Outside, cameras waited under a hard blue sky, while the city clerk carried 7 reopened complaint files toward the chamber. At 10:26 a.m., the suspension orders sat on a walnut table in the mayor's conference room. Cole stood first. Cold coffee and toner hung in the air. Sunlight stopped short at the silver badge on his chest. Turn in department property, the clerk said. Cole unpinned it. His hand lingered over it. Officer Cole? He set it down, fingers still resting there a moment. This is temporary, Cole said. Miriam closed the folder. The findings will decide that. Cole finally pulled his hand back. A damp ring remained on the table. Outside, Tessa and Samuel were waiting. They reopened my brother's stop, Tessa said. 2 years ago. Same road. Samuel handed Marcus a coffee. No sugar. Too hot to drink yet. You did the right thing, Marcus told her. I almost put the phone down. But you didn't. Doesn't feel like it was enough. Might be enough for someone whose camera happened to go missing. By noon, 7 files had grown to 19. Maya's logs showed gaps right after verifications. Jonah's drafts showed wording altered before complaints got closed out. Calvin Moss showed up with route sheets and a termination notice. They told my boss I was unstable, Calvin said. Marcus held the notice up to the light. Did anyone interview you? No. Did they return your things? 3 days later, my work keys were gone. Daniel walked in with City Attorney Elaine Mercer, 50, sharp in a navy suit. We could talk resolution, she said. For who? Marcus asked. For you. Wrongful detention, reputational harm, distress. Calvin's chair creaked. A confidential settlement could move fast. Marcus glanced at Leah's ruined program. And the 19 complaints? Those are separate. No, they're not. This wouldn't stop a policy review. It would keep the findings out of public view. It would spare everyone unnecessary exposure. For the department, you mean? For everyone. Marcus pushed the folder back across the table. I'm not trading silence while other people are still just entries in closed files. The air conditioner clicked off. Is that your final word? Yes. At 4 p.m., the city ordered an independent review of 4 years of Briar Road stops. Brennan resigned ahead of a removal vote. Vance lost her supervisory role. Cole's termination cited falsified reports and disregard for verification protocol. Jonah found him in the locker room. You handed them the drive, Cole said. I preserved the record. You picked strangers over your own unit. Jonah shut his locker. The sound echoed off the tile. I picked what actually happened. Cole stared at the bare rectangle on his uniform. That evening, Marcus sat outside Leah's school. Rehearsal music drifted through the brick wall. Rain tapped the windshield. Daniel called. City wants to make another offer. Same answer. They might fight the reforms. Then document every time they refuse. Marcus opened the program. Only 3 blue letters were still legible, near the fold. Late. Leah came out the side door with her choir bag. She saw him, stopped, then crossed the wet lot. You're early, she said. Yeah. She spotted the program. You kept that? He nodded. Leah opened the passenger door but didn't get in yet. Are they done? Marcus looked toward the station lights past the trees. No, he said. Now they actually have to change the rules. At 8:30 a.m., Marcus set Leah's ruined program down beside a 42-page policy draft. The conference room smelled of old carpet and burnt coffee. Rain streaked the windows. Ellis Turner, 63, chair of the new Civilian Oversight Board, adjusted his hearing aid and tapped the first page. Independent credential verification. Automatic camera upload. Outside review for repeat stops. City Attorney Elaine Mercer crossed her arms. Some officers see this as punitive. Marcus looked at the blurred blue ink. Which part? Automatic transfer of recordings. Because supervisors can't cut in and interrupt it? Because context matters. Then keep the context. Just stop deleting it. Jonah Price slid a diagram across. Once a camera turns on, the file copies off-site every 60 seconds. Supervisors can flag it. They can't erase it. A union rep shook his head. You're building policy around one incident. Calvin Moss held up a folder. 19 reopened complaints say otherwise. Nobody responded. The ventilation fan clicked on. Marcus flattened the program with 2 fingers, but the damp paper curled back up. Elaine noticed. Why'd you bring that in here? Because procedure gets personal for somebody eventually. She looked at the faded words, then looked away. By noon, Brennan's old performance charts filled the screen. Rankings by contacts, searches, citations. Take the rankings out, Marcus said. Departments need performance measures, the union rep said. Then measure accuracy. That's subjective. Measure camera activation rates, completed verification calls, complaints that get sustained after review. Ellis turned to the clerk. Add it. Elaine exhaled. You're asking the city to admit the old system rewarded volume. Calvin's chair creaked. It did, he said. That's exactly why they kept finding us. Rain ticked at the glass. At 2:15, the chamber filled with residents. Tessa sat with Samuel. Maya Lopez came in uniform. Officers lined the far wall. Ellis opened the session. This board exists because the department couldn't correct itself. A retired officer stood. You're treating every stop like it's misconduct. No, Ellis said. We're treating every stop like it's a record. When Marcus was called up, he brought no notes. He set the damaged program on the lectern. I was verified twice, he said. It didn't protect me. Cameras clicked. But I had a badge, a supervisor above me, and preserved evidence. Most of the people in those files had none of that. Don't write rules that only work if the person you've detained turns out to be somebody important. Write rules that hold up when nobody even knows their name. He stepped back before the applause could start. At 5:40, the council approved independent verification, off-site camera storage, quarterly audits, and a ban on stop-count rankings. The vote passed 6-1. Outside, Leah waited on the courthouse steps with her choir bag. Did they change it? They started. She picked up the program. You keep carrying that thing around. So I don't confuse winning with actually fixing something. Leah folded it carefully and set it down next to the signed rules. Across the plaza, workers pulled the old performance chart off the station lobby wall. Behind it, a clean rectangle marked the spot where the numbers used to hang. 3 months later, Leah tested the auditorium microphone with a single soft note. Marcus sat in the center of the front row at 5:18 p.m., 42 minutes before the doors even opened. The floor smelled of wax and fresh paint. In his lap sat a restored copy of the old concert program. Leah had redrawn the missing gold stars, but left the blue sentence alone. Don't be late this time. You're early, she called from the stage. I was going for annoying. You nailed it. He held up the program. Brought proof. She smiled at the crooked stars. Mom would have fixed those. She would have added 12 more. The stage manager called Leah backstage. Before she left, she set a fresh paper flower on the chair beside Marcus. At City Hall, the first independent review came out at the same hour. 43 stops had been reopened. 11 citations were thrown out. 6 drivers got formal apologies, and 3 supervisors were sent through retraining. The report called the failures what they were. No softer language attached. Miriam handed Marcus a copy on the courthouse steps. They used the word failed 14 times. Better than confused. Nora wants a statement. She can print the findings. Nothing else? The people in those files already said everything that needed saying. Cole's termination stuck after the board confirmed he'd falsified the report and ignored a verified credential. Vance took a demotion instead of appealing and lost her ability to supervise officers. Brennan's retirement benefits stayed under review once investigators confirmed he'd rewarded stop volume and discouraged outside complaints. Across the plaza, Jonah talked to new recruits about evidence retention. Maya had moved up to dispatch training supervisor. Tessa's video stayed in the public archive. Samuel had testified in 4 reopened cases. Calvin Moss had joined the oversight board himself. Calvin came over with a thick binder. You coming in? Vote starts at 6. So does Leah. Marcus glanced at the program. Miriam's got me buried in paperwork. Heard that, Miriam said. Calvin held the courthouse door open. Go. We can manage a vote without a federal agent hovering. Call me after. No. Call your daughter after. A light rain cooled Marcus's face. Courthouse lights blurred against the wet pavement. He tucked the report under the program and headed for his car. The auditorium was packed by the time the lights dimmed. Coats rustled. The piano struck its opening chord. Leah stepped into the warm circle of light and found him immediately. She didn't try to sound like Aisha. She sang lower, steadier, one hand resting at her side. Marcus held the program until the paper stopped shaking in his hands. When the last note faded, the room stood. He stayed seated a moment longer through the silence before the applause hit. After the curtain call, Leah came down the aisle. "Did you hear all of it?" "Every word." "You didn't check your phone once?" It was off. She touched the paper flower on the empty seat. "Kept that one for Mom." "I know." "And this one for you." Marcus looked at the restored program, then at the chair under him. "I'm here," he said. Leah rested her hand on his shoulder. No camera caught it. No report would ever describe it. The stage lights dropped, row by row, until only the front row still glowed. This time, the seat was full. Have you ever watched an ordinary encounter turn unfair because someone in charge simply refused to listen? Share what happened in the comments, especially if one honest witness, one preserved recording, or one quiet act of courage changed how it ended. Send this to someone who believes dignity should never depend on your status, your appearance, or the badge in your pocket. Follow for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, and the harder work of changing systems, not just exposing one bad decision. And remember the ones who stayed, the dispatcher who kept the record, the rookie who saved the file, the witnesses who didn't look away, and the daughter who kept a seat open. Sometimes accountability starts the moment one person decides the truth is worth holding on to.